All right, let's get into audience questions for the week. A bunch of questions about the recent 60 Minutes UFO UAP piece that was done. The general gist of the questions is, David, what's your view about the truth of the recent UFO UAP story? Now, UAP is a relatively, at least in the public space, new term for unidentified foreign objects called unidentified aerial phenomena. Unidentified flying objects. The new UAP is unidentified aerial phenomena. My view on this is I don't think anybody is lying about what they believe they saw. When you see pilots interviewed and saying, we saw this moving in that way at this speed, and we don't know this, that, the other thing. I believe everybody so far is being honest in their perceptions. I believe we only have part of the story. And I have no evidence at this point that we are dealing with aliens from another planet. And this is the most important thing to remember. Just because we say there's a UFO, that's an unidentified flying object. It's an object that's flying and we don't know exactly what it is. Doesn't mean that it's aliens. And similarly, an unidentified aerial phenomena has the sort of same analysis. Now, I've said before, if there is an intelligent interstellar traveling species or society of some kind that comes to the United States, if we default to treating it as a threat, the way, for example, Marco Rubio said, these UAPs, UFOs these are threats. Well, it may be a threat if they are, if it's spy technology from an adversary, then we're talking about national security. But if we did get a visit from aliens, and we treat it as a threat when they are actually not a threat, if they come in peace, so to speak, then we could potentially destroy what would be a historic species-changing encounter. And the reality is that at this point, since we lack the technology to do what we imagine maybe someday would happen, which is some alien race from somewhere else in the universe comes to the United States, if they came with nefarious goals, it's abundantly clear that at least at this time, we would be able to do nothing to prevent them from either killing all of us or enslaving all of us or whatever. So for me, the national security analysis makes more sense if we're conceding that the most likely explanation is that this is either something from a foreign power, in which case, by the way, if we really don't understand what it is, then they are way further ahead than us in many ways, and we should be extremely worried. Or it's also possible that these are unidentified or unknown to the pilots and people that were interviewed for the 60 Minutes piece, but that it actually is classified at a level above their pay grade or level of access. And the people who know what these things are did not participate because maybe 60 Minutes doesn't even know who they are. So I think my main point here is, for me, the most serious approach to this UFO UAP thing is, first of all, there is no evidence that this is aliens from somewhere other than Earth. There's just no evidence of that. And it's fascinating to think of. And I understand the equations about the probability of intelligent life other than just on Earth. And I recognize that if we were ever to make that first contact, it would truly be an incredible thing. I'm not saying it's not possible. I'm just saying there's no evidence that this is that. Then it gets to the question of, assuming that it is indeed man-made technology, then what is the source of it? Is it something American that is so classified that even the people interviewed don't know what it is? Or is it something foreign? And then you get the people who say, well, the physics of it doesn't make sense. There were descents in altitude that would have killed any human body that was in there. Okay, maybe there wasn't a human body in there. We also know that the way a lot of these things are filmed and perspective and lenses can make something seem different than what it might look like to the naked eye. Where I come back to is sort of an Occam's razor type question, which is, which of these explanations require the fewest assumptions? And the ones that require the fewest assumptions are the visual perception that the pilots claim is not entirely accurate. That would be a very straightforward way to explain away a lot of this. Or this is stuff that is known. It's not unidentified. It was unidentified to the pilots, and maybe to air traffic control, but it's technology that higher up we are aware of, or it was human-made technology from some other from some other country. The one that is the furthest and requires the most assumptions, of course, would be the alien one, which is there is an alien species that is advanced enough to travel to Earth from really far in the universe, because we've been observing the universe that's more immediately around us for a very long time, and to do it without any other signature, be it radio waves or whatever else. And right, so the number of assumptions start to go up significantly. So that's not where I am on this. Now, just one other thought on this. One thing I read was the information that was released was fake information released by the US government to trick other countries. What's the idea here? This is quite cynical. And if you go down this rabbit hole, the pilots interviewed on 60 Minutes could be in on it or not. They might not even be in on it. The idea would be, let's make some video and have pilots tell stories or otherwise convince pilots of the reality of this, so that 60 Minutes will do a piece. We'll have some big reveal about these UAP UFOs. And this will be seen by our adversaries, and it will completely misdirect them so that they will start sinking R&D money into what they think they need to do to develop these things. And it's either digital, it's not even real, it's just been made on a computer. And it's a way to get adversaries to spend money. Unfortunately, that's not totally implausible compared to the alien theory. The deliberate misdirection campaign by the US government strikes me as more plausible. Send me your thoughts. That's kind of where my head is on this at this point in time. Most healthy granola bars have sort of a bad reputation because they're either dry or boring, or don't taste that good, or they don't satisfy your cravings. But our sponsor, Monk Pack, is completely different, because Monk Pack keto granola bars are sweet and delicious with a soft and chewy texture, and yet they have only 140 calories, 1 gram of sugar, and only 2 to 3 net carbs. Perfect for the low sugar or keto diet. They come in fantastic flavors like coconut cocoa chip, blueberry almond vanilla, and the new flavor peanut butter. I've been a fan for a long time. I always have them in my pantry. It is a perfect snack. And if you don't love them as much as I do, you get all your money back. They also now have a subscription feature, which I love. It'll save you 10% on every order, and it ships automatically. You'll get 20% off when you go to monkpack.com and use the coupon code Pakman. The link is right underneath this video.